Dave Corinth here. Welcome to my shop. I was out here working on the Miller's Falls number 37 block plane when the postman showed up. And no, not Kevin Costner on a horse in post-apocalyptic America. My postman, or post woman, or post lady. Either way, she brought me this box. And in this box is a plane that I bought off eBay, and it's a transitional plane. And lately I've had a thing for transitionals. I don't know why. I keep finding them in decent shape, and anytime I find a tool in decent shape, I'm going to buy it. So let's look inside this box and see what kind of plane I got. But first, I want to show you what I saw on eBay that made me buy this plane. By looking at the main photo, I could tell it was a transitional and it looked like it was in pretty good condition. And the item description was very helpful. It said there was no damage and it even gave the dimensions of the plane. The main photo also showed that the tote was in a really good condition and the iron had a pretty good amount of length left to it. The next photo wasn't very helpful, but you could tell it did have a good amount of japanning left. This photo appeared to be the heel of the wooden body, and you could tell there were no checks on the end, which is a common problem on these transitionals. The next photo was the mouth, and you could see there were no cracks around the mouth. But the sole did have some pretty deep gouges in it, which is common on these transitionals since the sole is wood. This photo had a good picture of the stamp on the toe. It also revealed that there were no checks on the ends. The next photo showed the frog and there didn't appear to be any damage. And if you zoom to the side of it, you could see that chip on the end of the tote that was mentioned in the listing. You could also see that twisted lateral. The last photo was a close-up of the knob and there didn't appear to be any damage or cracks. The seller had an opening bid of $10. So with 2 days left, I went ahead and placed a bid. And to my surprise, I was the only bidder. And 5 days later, it showed up at my house. Well, it's a big box. It's not packaged the best, but it sounds like it's bubble wrapped. I always like to shake one to see if it moves around. Anytime you ship a plane or any antique tool, honestly, you don't want it shifting in the box. And this one shifts in the box. But it sounds like it's wrapped well, so let's find out. Of course, the approved box cutter. That's actually really good. Don't need that stuff. Don't need that stuff. Don't need that stuff. Here's what I want. If I can get this thing out of here. Lord, there we go. All right. So let's get a closer look at this. So here it is in the person, or in this case, in the beach, because that's what this body is made out of, is beach, and the tote and the knob. Not much cast iron in these, basically the frame and the frog and the lever cap. But here it is in person finally, and it looks really good so far. I wasn't sure how wide the iron was going to be, but it turned out, I'm pretty sure it's 2 inches, so let's just find out. Yep, right at 2 inches. So I would assume that Revenock would have numbered this a 26, which is basically like a Stanley number 5 in the transitional series. And it's identical to a Stanley number 26. So let's take a closer look at some stuff. I noticed right out of the gate that the tote is loose, but that's not a big deal. It doesn't appear to have any damage that I can see. It's got some dust on it, but the body's in really good shape. Normally these are all cracked in places, like on the ends, they're split. But this one doesn't have any of that. And you can see that nice logo right there. HSB & Co. Revenock. And if you don't know about this company, it's Hibbard, Bartlett, and Spencer. And the Revenock is actually another guy's name, Charles Conover. I think it's Charles. And his name is spelled backwards on here. So it's Revenock instead of Conover. And if I got that name wrong, I'll put an asterisk or something right in here to fix it. But the tote is in really good shape, minus that little chip at the top. But what do you expect? This thing's 100 years old. So it's in pretty good shape. Looks like it has the original finish. The knob doesn't have any damage to it. It looks like it's in excellent condition. The sole is certainly scratched up. You can see where somebody was probably planing a door. And of course, there's paint on the bottom, which is standard on all planes. It's got some gouges right here. Pretty good gouges right there and right there. But we're not going to worry about that. The frame is good. I don't see any cracks on the frame, and that's a good sign. A lot of times these will break right around in here or right in here, or even right on the side. And this one doesn't have any cracks that I can see. So let's turn it around to this side. No, I think it's in good shape. So normally when I find these, they end up looking like this. Yeah, a lot different. I mean, that's same size plane, but this one is a Birmingham plane with that caged lateral. I think it's a Mosier patent caged lateral, and this is how I found it. And I paid $5 for this, so I'm not going to pass that up for $5. It's got some parts that could be used on other planes, but as you can see, this is why most people don't touch transitionals, because they end up looking like this. And this is usually how I find them, but once in a while, I get lucky and I get one like this. So let's get the iron out and, oh, good God, check it out. Now, what I do like about these Revenox is they have a very, very thick iron. So let's do a comparison. This is a Stanley iron, same size, 2-inch, and look at the difference in the thickness. My gosh. And of course, the chip breaker is heavier. So with the transitional, is that weight going to make a difference? A little bit. I mean, definitely going to get less chatter, but I just like having that thick iron. And this is going to be, looks like it's in really good shape too. I don't see any, especially from here down, I don't really see any damage. It's got a lot of link left on it too, which is a good sign. So let's get this apart and see what the business end looks like. That's good and loose. Wasn't loose, but it wasn't super tight. Okay. Oh, yeah, look at that. There's no pitting. I mean, there's a line there, but that's just dirt, I think. That's going to be nice. Good deal. And, of course, the chip breaker still has its gun blue finish, minus the wood chips on the back. Of course, that's good. Now, of course, I didn't look at the lever cap, so let's take a look at that. I know it's got a 2 caster. I don't know what that means. And I'm pretty sure that these are made by either Union or Stanley. But either way, that's in excellent condition. A lot of times you'll see chips on the end. No chips. Original Japanning still on it. Quite a bit, too. That's got to be 95%. It's got some dings, toolbox dings here and there. But other than that, I'm not going to complain about that. And then, of course, you have, oh, that's loose. Good Lord. And that's been off a lot. I don't know why, but you can see the screws are pretty mangled up. So let's get that frog off. Good Lord, that is tight. Hope that has machine threads. No, it does not. So it doesn't have those Stanley patented brass inserts. I think that was patented in good Lord, 1912, I think is when those were patented. Okay, just about got it off. Well, those are on there good. That's a good thing, though, honestly. There is the frog. Not much play in the yoke. The adjustment nut moves easily. Good deal. Okay, and it's got a lateral with a disc on it, so that's good. The lateral moves freely. That's good. Let's see if this thing, oh, look at there. A lot of times these you got to really work to get them off, but this thing, I mean, that just come off with my fingers. I didn't have to even use a screwdriver. And it's not all marred up. But these are. They've been definitely worked over by somebody, but that's all right. So let's take a look at the tote and the knob. So there is the tote. And like I said, it's loose, but that's, wow, it's really loose. That's common. I mean, my gosh. Let's go ahead and get that off. And these have a one-piece steel rod instead of the brass barrel nut and then a rod. Not all transitionals, but these Revenox do. Stanleys actually do have a brass barrel nut and then a steel rod. And that's not bent. It doesn't look like. It looks pretty straight. And there is the tote. And that's in really good shape. I am very pleased with that. I mean, that'll clean up good. I'm not going to try to repair that, but I'm going to make it where it's not going to give me splinters. So let's take a look at the knob. Now, the knob also has a one-piece screw, but it's just a wood screw. It won't be a threaded screw like this one, or a machine screw like this one. Get that off there. It comes off easy. Good deal. And there is that long screw. And there's the knob, and that is in really good condition. Cool. Okay. Well, let's get this thing back together. And the iron does have a nice clean logo. You can't see it real good now, but it's there. And I always like to see a good logo on the irons. So this was a regular auction on eBay, and I had noticed it a couple of days before it ended, and I just threw $10 as the opening bid. And I got it for $10 plus $17.85 shipping. After the tax, it was like 29 something 75. I don't know, but it was cheap. Honestly, that's about what you would pay for a decent looking transitional. So I think I came out ahead. So I'll get this one tuned up in the next couple of weeks, but first I have to finish my Miller's Falls, and then I have to build a saw till for the big tool till that I'm building. But I am going to get this thing tuned up because I'm starting to like Transitional. There's something about the wood on wood feel that's just unique. And I can see why some of them old timers, when the cast iron plane first came out, why they stuck to these Transitionals, because they really just glide right across the wood. So keep an eye out for good condition Transitionals. You won't be disappointed. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll make more. And of course, thank you for watching. So I bought this plane for parts. I paid $5 for it, and it is, which you can barely read, a Birmingham B plane. And it has, of course, that Mosier patented lateral, which is called a cage lateral. So I thought I could use it for parts, and if nothing else, I can make copies of the tote, and I can make copies of the knob. So I can use the tote and the knob as patterns and make totes and knobs with it. And of course it has the old crack right here. And this is normally how I find them. So I get kind of excited when I find them like that. And this is a Stanley number 26. And they are identical twins. I picked this one up recently for $5 at a flea market. And it's an earlier one. It's got the Arch logo, but it's not as in good condition as this one. So this is generally how I find them, like that. So when I get one that looks like this, I get pretty excited. So hey, thanks for watching. And if you've never seen The Postman, I'm going to warn you ahead of time, it's a long movie. It's got Kevin Costner in it. He finds a postman suit and he ends up saving the world. But it's a really long movie. So just warning you ahead of time.